The Day We Bought a Farm, a true story, written and read by Rebecca Prophet. Once upon a time, there lived a family of 9. They had bravely endured a long, cold winter with freezing snowstorms that never seemed to end. So one spring day, while the mom was scrolling a local marketplace, she saw a miniature horse for sale. His shaggy coat and endearing eyes captivated her at once. She found out that the same farm was selling not 1 but 4 miniature horses. The woman's husband traveled over bumpy gravel roads in a borrowed truck and trailer as they made their way to a small farm outside of a tiny town in Alberta, Canada. When they got there, the tender-hearted girls couldn't help noticing the sorrowful state of the animals. Their manes and tails a tangled mess of burrs and missing patches of hair. They had to hold their nose as they walked past the stenching piles of rotting animals scattered on the ground. By the time the family left the farmyard, their bank account was empty and their trailer was full. The girls sang and laughed and held on tightly to a little calf that was snuggled comfortably on their laps in the bumpy back seat of the truck all the way home. The mom and the 2 younger brothers were waiting eagerly on the driveway to see what their dad and sisters
What are we waiting for, Isaiah?
We're waiting for our horses to come out. A baby cow.
They excitedly climbed onto the trailer and peered through the thin windows. Imagine their surprise when they not only saw the 4 anticipated miniature horses, but also a beautiful white Palomino stallion, a spotted gray stallion, a donkey, a cow, and a baby calf. The mother was surprised to the point of not knowing what to say, but before she could get mad at her husband, he took off running after a baby calf who escaped through the barbed wire fence. Thinking the calf would be an easy catch, both the dad and the oldest daughter went chasing after the little creature. They didn't have gloves or a flashlight, and the night was quickly getting dark and had already been cold. Every time they got close to the scared little girl, she dashed away. She ran through fences and across ditches. She ran down roads and up hills. She ran behind neighbors' houses and across huge rolling pastures. She ran and ran and ran. A couple of hours later, and dark having long since passed, the mom and remaining girls at home were having some struggles of their own. Because none of the animals were broke, they were not supposed to let them out of the trailer without first securing their halters on them. They were also not supposed to let the 2 stallions out into the same pasture. After trying for a long time, the mom and girls got the halter on one of the stallions and let it out in the pasture with the cow and the donkey. Next, they needed to get the halter on the second stallion so that it could be led into a different pen. But when they opened up the divider that had separated the 2 horses during the ride home, the second stallion pushed past them all and dashed out the door. The mom and kids wondered what had become of their dad and sister. They realized with some anxiety that it had been 2 hours since the dad and sister had run off chasing the calf, and it was now past 10 o'clock at night. They decided they needed to send out reinforcements to look for their missing family members, so they called their neighbors and off they went. Meanwhile, down the road in the pitch black of night, the dad and sister had numb fingers and frozen toes as their exhausted bodies chased that little calf all over the county. They eventually realized that the chase was futile, and the dad and sister knocked on an old rancher's door and asked him to drive them home without the calf. The rancher happily agreed, and the 3 of them hopped into the front seat of his old truck as they drove towards home. The truck turned its headlights onto a little scared-looking calf staring straight at them in the middle of the road. The dad wasted no time, jumped out of the truck, and went running after the calf again. He ran down the gravel road, across a ditch, through 4 fences, and up a hill. They could barely see each other in the inky blackness, and still the little calf showed no signs of giving up. Finally, the dad had had enough of chasing this little calf, and he decided to change his approach. He got down on all 4s and started mooing like a cow. The little calf, about to dash away, stopped and turned as the dad let out his loudest, most authentic moo, and the little calf slowly started coming towards him. When she was within arm's reach, the dad grabbed tightly onto its 2 front legs. The dad triumphantly jumped up and with the frightened calf slung across his shoulders, walked all the way home with the lights of the truck following behind him. When everyone had finally arrived home safely together and the rescue parties had been called back, the whole herd was finally let out with all their halters successfully attached, and the family fell happily exhausted into bed. In the weeks that passed, the family spent long days working together, building fences, pounding posts, stringing barbed wire for pastures, hauling water, and moving hay. After much of the hardest work was done, the days that followed were filled with laughter and sunshine and fun for the whole family, and plenty of amusement for the neighbors. The kids spent every available moment playing with, brushing, catching, chasing, and escaping from donkeys, horses, and cows. And that, my friend, is the story of the day we bought a farm.
Just let him bite the top of it and let go so he doesn't bite you. I don't think he likes lots of people.